Hello, wonderful ladies. How are you? Day 23 of the period party. 1 week left, 1 week to go. How do you feel about it? Let me know, did you get anything out of the period party? I've received a few comments, actually plenty of comments from some of you, but if you have been listening in and you haven't really shared much until now, this is your chance, and let me know if you're actually getting something out of this this month of March. If these videos have been helpful, if there is anything that you would like me to talk about before we finish the period party. And also do not forget, I have already pinned a post at the top of the Recover from HA support group. If you have any questions that you would like me to cover on my live on Saturday, just make sure that you comment underneath that post, because basically on Saturday, what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump on the post, I'm going to read the questions, and I'm going to answer them live. So if you have something that has been bugging you or that you have been thinking about, just please let me know, so that I'm going to make that happen. Now, just 1 second, I want to make sure that I'm live and people can hear me. If you cannot hear me, just let me know in the comment section. It's always my fear that I speak for like 20-30 minutes and then I realize that nothing has happened. It actually happened a couple of months ago. I had the most beautiful group call in the Czech community. There were 12 women. We went on for more than 90 minutes, and we went really deep and really to the core of some of the issues that were bothering some of the women. And I was looking forward to share the replay with the other women that couldn't really participate to the call, and to then realize that I didn't record it. And so that's a, life lesson next time. Just make sure that you record your group calls, but also it's not a tragedy. Sometimes we make mistakes and it's still okay, and still the earth keeps spinning and life goes on. But today we're going to be talking about body comments. So when people comment on your body, especially during the HIA recovery journey, because sometimes it is quite triggering for women and it makes us second guess ourselves and the whole process. Before I go ahead and do so, 2 things. First of all, just remember to post your questions underneath the post on the Recover from HA support group on Facebook. So then I'm going to be able to answer your comments and your questions on Saturday. And secondly, there is 1 space left on the baby period comeback protocol, so not the full extended program, because at the moment we're definitely at full capacity. But if you still want to get guidance, support, and follow proven steps and get a customized treatment protocol to follow so that you can get your period back, you can tackle your disorder behaviors around food and training, and you can boost your fertility and have successful results. Also, if you're thinking of doing IVF or you're already doing IVF, just make sure that you ask me about today, or you simply join in. It's only 1 week left and then we close shop. So I don't want to give you, I don't want to push you. It's not like to make you feel that you're really going to miss out and it's never going to happen again, but chances are this is not going to happen again. So might as well join if this is really important to you. But now let's talk about comments in the HA recovery journey. So can you please share with me, if you're watching this live or also on replay, you know that I love to activate your beautiful brain, but just drop an emoji or a comment or anything that you want, or simply say yes or hands up if you have received a comment after losing weight, after gaining weight, after being in the HA recovery journey, when nothing really physically had happened, but people started to comment no matter what. Because it definitely happened to me. I do remember 1 specific day I traveled back to my home country, which is Italy, and I was so excited to see all my extended family, relatives, friends, and so on and so forth. And I remember that on the same day, I met a friend of my dad, and he looked at me and he was like, Claudia, you're scarily thin. We really need to make sure that you have something to eat today. Are you well? And he looked really concerned, like that he wasn't really happy to see me in that situation. On the same day, I went to see a relative of mine, a beautiful old lady in her 80s, and she looked at me and she's like, oh, I can see that now you can have babies because finally you have fat. And I was so taken aback because I received two opposite comments on the same day. One person was really worried, concerned about my well-being, and the other person was actually really happy because finally I looked fertile. The reality is that if we keep living our life and waiting for other people praises or being afraid of other people comments, well, you can see straight away that it's not going to be a win-win solution, isn't it? Because the reality is that sometimes people make comments based on their own perceptions, on their own lives, on their own issues. And sometimes they have nothing to do with me, with you, but they have everything to do with them. So it's really important for us to discern what they're really saying and what is really true. So the first step for you to actually deal with comment in a very peaceful and blasé kind of way is to rationalize what they're saying. That's a conversation that we always have in the Che community, right? Maybe someone comes to you and they say, oh, finally, you look healthy. And instead of being pleased by the comment, all you can hear is, oh, I look fat, right? So it's really important for you to bring out your rational mind and ask yourself, hang on a second, did he actually say that I look fat, or did he say something else? And why did he say that? And how did that make me feel? And why is that making me feel this way? Because the reality is, if someone said that you look healthy, that's it, full stop. You look healthy. It doesn't mean anything beside that. It doesn't mean that you look fat. It doesn't mean that you look any way. You just look healthy. So sometimes it's really important to bring out the rational mind and rationalize what people are saying. And sometimes it's also very important to say, cool, thank you. That's what I'm trying to do here. I've been trying for such a long time to look healthy, to be healthy. So thank you. This means a lot to me. One time I remember that someone pointed out that I, for the first time in my life, at the age of 25 plus, I had cellulite in my legs. And I look at them, and for the first split second, I was like, oh, I'm not too sure how I should take this comment. And then my rational mind went on and thought, thank you. I'm a woman now. I got estrogen. I finally look feminine. So, you can absolutely decide how you want to react to a comment and how you want that comment to rule your day. Because if you try to place yourself inside the bubble and to avoid comments, you're making your life very, very small. Because people tend to compare. They tend to pay comments even when they're not really welcome. And people do compare from a survival standpoint. So back in the days, people used to compare just to understand if they can trust a person, if that person is dangerous for their own survival, right? And that's something that it's really ingrained in our biology. We compare to other people just to make sure that we can trust them. So for example, if you go out on a date and you go out with a man or with a woman, depending on your sexual preferences, and that person, and you meet that person for the first time, you start comparing, you start like checking the shoes, you start checking the clothing, you start asking questions. That's a way for you to discern if that person is trustworthy, if you can be in the same room with that person without feeling scared, right? So it's really important for us to understand that people compare no matter what, and it's also for survival. At least that's what drives comparison. And it's also very important to discern what people are really saying and to be rational when we receive comments, and sometimes to be happy about the comments. You look healthy, fantastic. That's what I've been doing. That's why I've been working with Claudia. That's why I've been part of the Period Comeback Protocol. That's why I show up in the Che community every single week, because I want to be healthy, right? That's possibly why you're watching these videos. So next time that someone pays you a comment and say, oh, finally, you have put on some weight, thank you. To be honest, I've been trying pretty hard and it sucks. So thank you for noticing it, because I've been trying my best. On the other end of the spectrum, if you know that you are currently very triggered by comments, it's also a good idea for you to let people know about it. So, for example, when I went through a period of my life where I knew that comments were really triggering and that could really set me back in my Rachel recovery journey, I had to tell my mom, I had to tell my dad, my sister, and the people that knew me the most that comments were not welcome. And if they paid me a comment on my body, I would have found myself having to leave the house or having to leave the situation where I was in. And that would have made me feel really unwell. So I kindly asked them not to comment on my food, not to comment on my body, and to start to comment on different areas of my life. So my hair, for example, were fine. The way that I was wearing my dresses, my clothing were fine. The things that I was doing in life, the people that I was hanging out with, they could definitely comment on that. And they were more than free to have a conversation, a very deep conversation with me on those particular topics, but to simply stay away from commenting my body and food. And at the end of the day, commenting on other people's body is still socially accepted. And I have no idea why we do it. I have no idea why we feel so free to actually comment on someone that we don't know, because in reality, we have no idea what's happening behind closed curtain. So yeah, and I don't want to come up with examples, but sometimes you may tell a person, oh, finally you have lost the weight, you look better than before, to then find out that the person is severely sick. So always make sure when you make comments on other people's body, and if you don't want other people to comment on yourself, just make sure that you do the same, right? Because at the end of the day, you attract the energy that you put out. So if you spend so much time comparing yourself with others, commenting on other people, commenting in your head about other people, ultimately that's what you're going to receive, or ultimately that's where your attention is going to go. Okay. Third steps is if people are engaging in conversations that you don't like, if people are making comment about a specific situation or a specific body, if they start talking about dieting, if they start talking about things that you don't want to hear, it's more than okay to simply change the conversation. You don't have to engage in a conversation that you don't want to be part of simply to please other people. So I normally say is the pass the salt conversation. So someone comes to you and, for example, start talking about their latest diet, or the fact that someone has put on weight, or someone has lost weight and they look so great, or maybe they start commenting on a celebrity. You can definitely decide to simply say, sorry, can you pass the salt? And by the way, were you gonna go on holiday this year? And change the conversation entirely. Sometimes it's also very much okay to stand up and leave the room. So for example, we had a conversation with a client during the Christmas holidays, and she knew that every single year on Christmas, she gets to see this uncle that always make comments on her body. And this time, last year on Christmas, for the first time, that this uncle still made a comment on her body, and she basically decided to stand up and just leave the room. And the guy got the message, right? So the more that you detach yourself from a conversation, the more that you detach yourself from a situation, the less the people are gonna bring up the same conversation again, because people get it. People get it pretty quickly. And whenever they don't get it, that's okay as well. You can always change the topic, leave the environment, leave the conversation. Or sometimes if you have that close enough relationship, you can always share how you feel with that person and say, hey, whenever you make comments on my body, positively or negatively, or whatever comments you make, that makes me feel very insecure with myself, and it makes me feel really, really unwell. And obviously we can extend these conversations to the fertility journey. You know, sometimes people, if you have been trying to have a baby for a long time, and if you have been married for quite a while, people are going to ask, so when are you going to have a baby? Or they're going to talk about the next pregnancy and so on and so forth. And it's absolutely okay to let them know that this is hurting you. You don't want to talk about it. You're so sick of hearing about it, and just leave the room. And last tip that I would like to cover today is to make sure that you self-soothe yourself. Sometimes conversations are triggering, sometimes comments are really triggering, and they can make you really second guess all the choices that you have made so far, because maybe you haven't had a period for an extended for many months and years, and then you have someone that come up to you and say, hey, by the way, I didn't have a period as well, I couldn't get pregnant, and then I went ahead, did intermittent fasting, and I got my period back. If you break down the situation that person is describing to you, I'm pretty sure that there is so much more that the person did on top of intermittent fasting. But that's the kind of suggestions that possibly she's giving you, right? In that case, in that situation could be quite triggering, because that makes you second guess all the choices that you have made so far in the HA recovery journey. So please just remember yourself of why you're doing this. Remember that you have your own truth. Remember to work with a professional that can guide you step by step, so you know exactly what is going on. And always remember to self-soothe yourself, meaning that if you feel triggered, if you feel that you're in doubt, that you're second guessing yourself, make sure that you have practices that you can, or techniques or skills that you can take out of your toolbox, so that you can start feeling better straight away. I really hope that this conversation today made sense. I feel that it was very clear in my mind, but it was kind of a mess when it came out. And sometimes that's how it happens, and that's okay. I've been showing up every single day for the past 23 days. So some conversation can be really helpful and straightforward, others not so much. Doesn't matter, because I'm pretty sure that a few of the things that I've said today, they're going to resonate with some of you. And if they did, please, please, please let me know, because I love hearing from you. I love talking to you. Once again, questions, ask them. So I'm going to be able to cover them on Saturday. And I also would like to end this video by letting you know what I'm going to cover tomorrow. You know what? I think that tomorrow is going to be more on comments, body checking, body image, because I think that you need to hear it. Or maybe it's going to be more about how to ask for support from professional, loved ones, medical professionals, and all of that. I will see how I feel. And see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.